of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Body George, has told the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), Professor Joash Amupita, that Nigerians won't accept any excuses of glitch in system. George made the statement during an interview with newsmen on the national television in Abuja on Monday. His remarks came as the country prepares for the 2027 general elections. The elder statesman urged the new INEC boss not to repeat the same intentional mistake his predecessor made in the 2023 general elections. At least 7 journalists have died, while 4 others sustained injuries in a single fatal road accident involving a Nigerian Union of Journalists boss in the state. The incident reportedly occurred on Monday evening as the journalists were returning from a wedding ceremony in Gombe South, the senatorial district. The victims were part of a delegation that had traveled to honor a colleague, an employee of the Nigerian Television Authority, who was getting married. Confirming the incident, the Gombe State Sector Commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Samson Kaura, said 11 people were involved in the crash, adding that 7 of them died on the spot, while 4 others sustained varying degrees of injuries. According to him, preliminary findings indicate that the accident was a lone crash, likely caused by a tire burst. Killed while 3 others were kidnapped after a late-night attack by suspected bandits on Bundu Kahugu community in Leret local government area of Kaduna State. The community was thrown into mourning following the attack, which reportedly occurred on Monday night at about 11 p.m. Confirming the attack on Tuesday, the National Secretary of Bundu Kahugu community, Ishaya Dauda, said that assailants invaded the village under the cover of darkness, shooting sporadically and terrorizing residents. Dauda stated that the community had suffered a similar attack barely 2 weeks ago, during which 4 people were killed, raising concerns over the repeated assaults on the area. They also called on telecommunication companies to improve network coverage in the community, noting that the attackers often exploit poor communication networks to operate freely and escape without resistance. For the break, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory (FCT), Nyesom Wike, has faulted the Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara for declaring himself the 001 of the state. Wike downplayed claims that the governor is the leader of the All Progressives Congress (APC) in Rivers State on Monday. Fubara had made the declaration after defecting from the People's Democratic Party (PDP) to the APC during his registration with the APC in the state, and he was assigned 001 on his membership. However, speaking during his end-of-the-year media chat in Port Harcourt, Wike said, Fubara became to APC with whom? What is 001? Let me tell you, there's nothing like 001 in the state. In Love FM News, the news continues in justice. In business, electricity distribution companies says electricity supply has been restored in parts of their franchise after the national grid experienced a system disturbance on Monday. Abuja and Port Harcourt disclosed these in separate statements on their X on Monday night. This comes after the national grid collapsed around 2 p.m. on Monday, leaving parts of the country in darkness. However, hours after the grid operators said its restoration had begun. The foreign scene, fresh figures shows that more than 3,000 people died trying to reach Spain by sea over the past year, a sharp drop from the previous 12 months. According to the NGO Caminado Fronteras, 3,090 people drowned between January and mid-December 2025, including 192 women and 437 children. Spain's Interior Ministry said just under 36,000 irregular migrants arrived by sea and land during that period, down from more than 60,000 the year before. Authorities attribute much of the decrease to tighter border controls, particularly in Mauritania, a key departure point for migrants heading to Spain. Sports, Super Eagles players will receive $30,000 each for reaching the round of 16 at the ongoing 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. The Nigerian Football Federation (NFF) initially proposed $15,000 per player, but the offer was rejected by the players. The two parties then settled for $30,000, an improvement on what they earned at the last AFCON in Cote d'Ivoire. They have also reached agreement on bonus for the later rounds of the competition. The Super Eagles booked a spot in the knockouts round after a Navy 3-2 win over the Carthage Eagles of Tunisia last Saturday. Eric Charles' side will take on the Cranes of Uganda in the last group game today, Tuesday. Well, that's a package for you, family member. But before we go, here are the main points. We told you that 7 journalists have been killed in Gombe auto crash. You heard that Minister of Federal Capital Territory Nyesom Wike has faulted Governor Fuberes declaring himself as the 001 in the state. We also brought you reports that more than 3,000 migrants have died en route to Spain in 2025. Well, that's the news and Family Love 97.7 FM Port Harcourt, as edited by Felix Banako. I am Victor Peter. Thank you for listening. To enjoy the rest of today's broadcast. Good afternoon.